Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here, coming at you with the What a Deck profile for episode 167, Galaxy Photon Stun. For our monster lineup, we're playing 3 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, 3 Galaxy Knight, 3 Galaxy Soldier, 3 Photon Vanisher, 3 Light Ray Grepher, 1 Galaxy Cleric, 3 Photon Orbital, 3 Galaxy Wizard, and 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Our spells are 3 Photon Sanctuary, 1 Rhoda, 3 Pot of Desires, 1 Soul Charge, 3 Galaxy Expedition, 1 Monster Reborn, and 3 Galaxy Zero. We're playing no traps. Our extra deck consists of 2 Hippo Shinnigan, 2 Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon, 2 Star Liege Photon Blast Dragon, 2 number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, and 1 each of Mechaba, Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon, Full Armor Photon Dragon, Cyber Dragon Infinity, Cyber Dragon Nova, Exciton Knight, and Proxy Dragon. Our side deck I'll go over in a little bit. So this is a stun deck, which means it wants to go first, make enough disruption to prevent your opponent from making a big board, and then attack them for a lot of damage. There are 3 main cards that we use for disruption. The least powerful, but most often made, is the new Galaxy Link, Soul Flare Dragon, which is made with any 2 light monsters, including at least 1 with 2,000 or more attack. It has 2 effects. First, when it's Link summoned, you can add 1 Photon or Galaxy monster from your graveyard to your hand. Secondly, and more importantly for the stun aspect, during your opponent's main phase, you can target and destroy 1 special summoned monster your opponent controls by discarding either 2 Photon and or Galaxy monsters, or by discarding 1 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. We're playing 3 copies of said dragon, along with several ways to search it, as well as cards that benefit from having it in the graveyard. So despite that seemingly steep cost, this effect can actually be used pretty frequently and pretty easily. As for how to summon it, all our cards are light attribute, and a lot of them have 2,000 or more attack, so there's many different combinations that can lead to Soul Flare. The best option is probably Photon Sanctuary, which summons 2 Photon tokens, which are light and have 2,000 attack. That being said, you want to try to get at least 1 monster in your grave before you summon Soul Flare, so that you can grab it back with its first effect. Usually if I have like Galaxy Soldier in hand, I'll discard a monster for its summon, then use the tokens to summon Soul Flare Dragon, so I can get that monster I discarded back to my hand. But anyway, our next form of disruption is Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, which is an Ixie that can be made with any 2 level 8 monsters, has 2,500 attack, 3k defense, and if it has a Photon card attached to it as material, it can't be destroyed by card effects. In addition, it has 2 quick effects, which are both once per turn. First, when your opponent's monster activates an effect, you can detach to negate it, and if the card you detached was a Galaxy monster, which it pretty much always will be in this deck, you can destroy the card that you negate. Its second effect, which can only be activated during the opponent's turn, allows you to take any Photon or Galaxy card from your deck and either add it to your hand or attach it to this as Ixie material. So not only does it negate, but it replenishes its Ixie material from the deck, or searches the entire archetype. One particularly fun card to search during your opponent's turn is of course Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which you can then promptly discard with Soul Flare Dragon to unexpectedly destroy a monster when they think you have nothing in your hand. To make this thing, we usually use Galaxy Knight, which is a level 8 monster that can be normal summoned without tributes if you control a Galaxy or Photon monster. When it's summoned that way, its attack lowers by 1,000, but it special summons a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from the grave, which is also level 8, allowing for easy Ixie summons. Alternatively, we also have Galaxy Expedition, which lets you special summon a level 5 or higher Photon/Galaxy monster from the deck, as long as you already control a level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy. This can allow you to get Photon Dragon out of the deck if it's not in the grave, or allow you to get Galaxy Knight out of the deck if you already control a Photon Dragon, which we can summon in a number of different ways. Our final big negator is Cyber Dragon Infinity, which can negate anything once per turn and can equip attack position monsters to itself as Ixie material. You of course summon this on top of Cyber Dragon Nova, which can be made with 2 level 5 machine monsters, of which we just have the 1 Galaxy Soldier. Despite that, CDI is probably the easiest monster to summon in this deck. Galaxy Soldier can be special summoned by discarding any of our many light monsters, and it searches another Galaxy card when it's summoned, which can include another copy of itself for a quick rank 5 Ixie summon. Not only that, but this is actually searchable itself via Galaxy Wizard, which can tribute itself to add any Galaxy card from your deck to your hand. as well as Photon Orbital, which can attach itself from the hand to a Photon or Galaxy monster, give it 500 attack, make it battle immune. More importantly though, it sends itself from the graveyard after you attach it to search any Galaxy or Photon monster. Add to this the fact that you can recur whatever resource you discard with the first Galaxy Soldier using Soul Flare, and then discard it again, or you could just discard a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon for Galaxy Knight to revive, and this thing becomes a key component in your combo, allowing you to easily land on a board with all three, Soul Flare, Photon Lord, and Cyber Dragon Infinity. Now, in addition to these big three, we also have two other cards, which, while they don't negate, they provide enough utility that I felt they were worth running at 2 in the extra deck. The first is Starliege Photon Blast Dragon, which is an Ixie that can be made with any 2 level 4 monsters. It has 3 effects. First, when it's Ixie summoned, you can summon a Photon monster from your hand. Second, during your opponent's turn, you can detach to special summon a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon that is either banished or in your graveyard. And finally, and most importantly, while it's on the field, your opponent cannot use card effects to target or destroy any of your monsters that have 2,000 or more attack, which is pretty much all of them. While this itself doesn't negate, putting it alongside your negate monsters can give them added protection from targeting and destruction that can make your board even more difficult to deal with. Plus, you get a free summon of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which is a 3k beater that's already battle immune. So, along with this protection, it's nearly invincible. To make this thing, we usually use Photon Vanisher, which is a 2,000 attack light monster. Can't be normal summoned or set, but it can be special summoned while you control a Photon or Galaxy monster. It can't attack the turn it's summoned, but upon its summon, it searches Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which can then properly be summoned by Starliege as soon as it's Ixie summoned, or discarded for Galaxy Soldier to revive during the opponent's turn. You can also discard Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon with Light Ray Grepher, a level 4 light monster that can be special summoned by discarding a level 5 or higher light monster, or just normal summoned. He can be a bit bricky at times since he's a non-Galaxy/Photon, but his level and attribute make him excellent material for both Ixies and Lynx, and he surpasses most of the other available Photon monsters by having the ability to be normal summoned or special summoned, depending on the situation. Now, going back to Blast Dragon, sadly its effect does not apply to himself, since he only has 1800 attack, but you can boost that up by special summoning him along Hippo Shinnigan, who boosts all light monsters by 500, and makes for a solid Link monster in general for those times when you can't get a 2k attack monster on the board for Soul Flare Dragon. As for the rest of the extra deck, they're just here to cover some niche situations. Proxy Dragon is just here because it's a generic Link 2 with sideways arrows, which can allow you to get a third Ixie monster on the field for those times when you just open perfectly. Exciton Knight is an excellent card for when you're forced to go second, as well as a decent recovery card for when things go bad. Likewise, these two Galaxy Eyes Ixies are your second turn/going second playmakers. Both of them can be summoned on top of any other Galaxy Eyes Ixie, meaning if you can make Photon Lord, you can just slap them over the top of them. Both have the ability to detach to destroy a card your opponent controls, giving you a bit of removal, and they have 4,000 and 3,200 attack respectively, making them huge beatsticks that can easily get rid of monsters that are only removable by battle, or simply to attack for massive amounts of damage on the second turn. Our last extra deck card, Mechaba, is a little trollsy tech of mine. Cyber Dragon Nova has an effect that if it's sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can summon a Machine Fusion from your extra deck. So if your opponent sees that Cyber Dragon Infinity coming and tries to hit Nova with a Torrential or a Solemn, you can just summon Mechaba in its place. It rarely comes up, and you might want to replace this with one of the other Ixies from the side deck. Most notably, Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon is pretty good, but I liked it, and that's just what I decided to go with. As for the rest of our main deck, the only cards I didn't go over were Galaxy Cleric, which is just some searchable, recycling draw power. I play at 1 for instances when this turns into a grind game. Ghost Ogre, which is just another form of disruption, happens to be a light monster, meaning you can use it as material for a Link summon or discard it for Galaxy Soldier if you need to. And finally, Galaxy Zero, which is essentially just Monster Reborn for Photon and Galaxy monsters. It has a few quirks, being an equip card. It prevents the monster you summon from attacking or activating their effects, and if it leaves the field, the monster it was equipped to has its attack reduced to 0. But most of that doesn't matter since we tend to immediately use whatever is summoned for Ixie or Link material. All that leaves us with our staples, which should be fairly obvious. Rhoda searches your warriors, Monster Reborn, and Soul Charge, just good for combo decks that go into the graveyard a lot. and Pot of Desires, which is our draw power. This is a deck that plays everything at 3, has a variety of combos, a bunch of different boss monsters you can make, so Desires doesn't really hurt the deck in any meaningful way. All that leaves us with then is our side deck, which is mostly populated with actual side deck options. If you're going up against heavy spell trap removal, Galaxy Cyclone is the obvious choice in this deck, since it's archetype themed, and you can actually search it with Galaxy Wizard if you want to play it at less than 3. Honest is here to deal massive amounts of damage when going second, or as a replacement for Ghost Ogre when it doesn't have any use. Effect Veiler could also fill this spot as well, but I like the surprise 2018 Honest play. Overlay Booster, meanwhile, is an interesting tech and can replace a whole bunch of different cards to either get rid of your rank 4s or rank 8s and replace them with rank 5s. It's a level 5 light warrior that you could special summon if you control a monster with 2,000 or more attack, which of course a lot of the Photon Galaxy monsters do. Can't make Cyber Dragon Infinity since it's not a machine, but it works for both your links, and it gives you access to things like Constellar, Pleiades, and Tiras, which could be useful against certain matchups. The remaining 3 cards are just a couple ideas worth mentioning. Photon Advancer is an amazing card and should easily replace Light Ray Grepher, but it's not out in America yet, it has no announced release date, and since I want my decks to be things that people can build in real life, I kept it out. If this thing does get a release though, or if you're playing online and you don't care, this is an easy 3 of. Galaxy Braver, meanwhile, is out in the TCG, but I found it doesn't work very well because of its reliance on specifically having a Photon monster in your hand. Despite being a Galaxy card, it doesn't really work well with the other Galaxy cards that we play most of. If you have Photon Advancer, it might be enough. Maybe take out the Galaxy Knight, replace it with this since it has more tech. But it's hard to say without really testing a bunch. Finally, we just have Invocation, which was actually my initial idea with this deck. Photons can do a lot without their normal summon, and they're mostly light, allowing for an invoked engine to make Mechaba in addition to everything else with relative ease. I couldn't quite get it to work with my current lineup, but again, with Advancer being able to special summon itself more easily, this might be a good addition. But anyway, there's the deck. I hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to see Galaxy Photon Stun in action, you can check out the main video. There I'll be playing 10 random duels against opponents on YGOPro, showing off how this works. Or if you're short on time, just check out the replay video where I show some of the best combos and highlights real quick. Both should be on the end card and linked in the description. Until next time, good luck and have fun.